Welcome back to your World Cup catch-up show brought to you by the Maximum Cricket Podcast. On today's show, we discuss the Indian Globetrotters as they embarrass another opponent and break more records. Also, we as calm, rational Kiwis talk about whether we should trust the New Zealand process or just start panicking the fuck because it's all falling apart. We have that and so much more. Please do like and subscribe if you like the channel, enjoy the ride.
Oh, that is brilliant. It's a hero maximum. On the ground, down the ground, another hero maximum.
My name is Munter and I'm joined by Jacko tonight, and we have 5 burning questions heading into a big weekend for you. For example, the first question is going to be, is this Indian World Cup run the most dominant one in World Cup history? Now, before we touch on that, Jacko, I think it's important that we touch on last night's result.
Yeah, I've also got a bonus question for you at some point.
Have you? I like that. Yeah. I like that. You just chuck it in when you need.
When it feels right. Yeah.
When it feels right. So let's dive into this game last night, because this is what kind of brought it on, because it was a real statement sort of victory. India, they should beat Sri Lanka, but maybe not by 302 runs. Gill 92 runs. Kohli 88, Shreyas Iyer 82 off 56, Mohammad Siraj 3 for 16 off 7. One stage he had figures of 3 for none. Shami 5 for 18 off 5. One stage figures of 4 for 1. Sri Lanka all out 55. Jacko, your immediate visceral thoughts when you saw that scorecard this morning?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, friend of the show, Shami, just doing us an absolute treat again. We've backed him since day one. Always been harping on his case. One of the few players I'm yet to curse. So hopefully that stays away and he comes on the pod. But no, I mean, seeing a team win by 300 runs has got to be one of the more unsettling things to the eye as a cricket fan. We're not too past the age of cricket where 300 is a real good score in one-day cricket. I know, with some flatter wickets and hitting evolving as it is, but I mean, 2015 World Cup, 2011 World Cup, that sort of time, we're only 10 years past 300 being the big score in one-day cricket. And for India to win by 300 runs.
Still a good score.
Yeah, 300 in certain conditions is still a really good score. But, for India to win by 300 runs is astonishing. And Sri Lanka had to fight hard to make it close to 300. It was nearly
Can I just rattle off some stats around that, because you sort of touched on a couple of them. And then please do continue, because I think these are important, and they put in context how good Shami is and how dominant India are over Sri Lanka. So starting with Shami, I've got he's got the 6th most wickets in this tournament with 14. He's played 3 games. He's missed 4. He averages 6.71 and strike rate of 9 in this competition. Shami took his 45th World Cup wicket, the most in Indian cricket, the 8th most of all time. He averages 12 and strikes at 15 all-time World Cups. To put in perspective, Bolt is 4 wickets ahead of him. He's played 12 games extra. So that's Bolt's pretty good. And also, India's win wasn't even their biggest win over Sri Lanka this year. In their last 4 ODIs versus India, Sri Lanka have made the following scores: 73, 172, 50, and now 55. That's a combined score of 350. So India have made more in this one innings than Sri Lanka did in their last 4 innings against them. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's big brother, little brother stuff, to the extreme. It's like mum and dad. It's not just
big brother. It's like
mum and dad have had an accidental kid at 42 and you're 18, and you come home for Christmas and he's 4.
Massive difference in age.
Yeah, we're talking big gaps. I mean, I was looking at the scorecard this morning, and I think it was 5 ducks in the top 8. 7 of the top 8 didn't score above 1. I think the top five combined for 2 runs. Like, every way you looked at this game, it was just absurd. We've sort of talked about it off camera, but cricket math just doesn't work still. I looked at the Indian scorecard and thought, nice, they made 300, probably defended that pretty easily, and they scored 350 somehow. So, cricket math's still broken, but I don't really. We sort of thought Sri Lanka the other day is going to stay in that middling period and not disappoint and not push for anything, and I think they'll stay there. But yeah, that's a real reality check for a team that could be at this Champions Trophy.
It's quite a spectacle just seeing India on top. Like, it's just the crowd, the roar of the crowd, as Sri Lanka are 4 wickets down for 3 runs inside 4 overs, and it's that crowd is just going ballistic, and it's like it's a show. It's like this. It's like this isn't a World Cup. This is an exhibition. This is like, let's see what this crazy team can do.
I mean, as you put up, it's India Globetrotters. Like, it's actually like price of admission. You're paying for the spectacle, not actually to watch a cricket game anymore. Bonus question, not my actual bonus question that I discussed in the pre-show. Will Shami be the most underrated seamer of all time when it's all said and done? Because he has an unbelievable sort of record, but it never gets talked about with, in the same ilk as even your Bumrahs, your Cummins, these sort of top level guys. But I mean, for me, keeps performing. He doesn't have the sample size maybe as some of these guys, but shit, those numbers don't lie.
Well, that's the thing, and the numbers are starting to stack up, and he does it in all conditions. Like the last World Cups, like he did it in England. I'm not too sure how he went in 2015, but that's in Australia, New Zealand. Like, what I like about Shami is he's a bit old school in the way he bowls. Like in a world of wobble seam and swing bowling, it's nice to see just a guy have the seam bolt upright. It just let it do its magic. Like, that's old school stuff. Yeah. Like, seam straight up, let it seam. Like, none of this wobbable stuff. Just Shami straight up and down. No, his action isn't there's no special accent. Yeah, he's just a simple bowler, and he does his jobs well. And
I wonder if it hurts him that he does it like a 35-year-old accountant, like mid-tier accountant, like, and he's always sort of looked like a 35-year-old accountant. Like, he just doesn't have any of those, like, daunting features that some of the quicks has. Like, the Aussies are all 6'6" and handsome. Like, some of the English guys bowl absolute thunderbolts, but Shami just hits his 140s, hits the strings as hard as possible, and just produces results.
Our Shami. Okay, so the most dominant World Cup side ever. So, Jacko, I did a little bit of digging, and this Indian side they are embarking on one of the most dominant runs we have seen. The closest game they've had is New Zealand beating New Zealand by 4 wickets. Yay for us. So their results are as followed. They beat Australia by 6 wickets, beat Afghanistan by 8 wickets, beat Pakistan by 7 wickets, beat Bangladesh by 7 wickets, beat New Zealand by 6 wickets, 4 wickets, beat England by 100 runs, and beat Sri Lanka by 302 runs. They got South Africa next, they got Netherlands, and then the semis and finals. So real chance of running the gauntlet here. There were a couple of unbeaten sides at the World Cup off the top of my head. The 96 Sri Lankan team had a couple of walkovers. The 2003 Australian side, very, very good side. But I think this is the most dominant side. 2007 Australian side, 11 wins out of 11 games. Let me run you through some of these results, Jacko. They beat Scotland by 203 runs. They scored 334. They beat the Netherlands by 229 runs. They scored 358 for 5. They beat South Africa by 83 runs. They scored 377. They beat the West Indies by 103. They scored 322. They beat Bangladesh by 10 wickets, chasing 106. They beat England by 7 wickets, chasing 250. They beat Ireland by 9 wickets, chasing 92. They beat Sri Lanka by 7 wickets, chasing 230. They beat New Zealand by 215 runs, and they scored 348. They beat South Africa in the semi-final by 7 wickets, chasing 153. And then in the final, they beat Sri Lanka by 53 runs, their closest game, and where they scored 281 off 38 overs. So just to recap, every time they batted 50 overs, they scored 300 plus. And the most wickets they lost in any innings was 6 wickets. So numbers 9, 10, 11 never batted in the whole tournament. 11 through 11.
That's, just quietly touch on that. What a fucking tournament for those quirks. I mean, bowl your 50, bowl your 10 out in the field, and then just boots up. Like, I'd be giving half my winnings to the batters. Just divide it amongst yourselves. What a tournament you would have had. In the Caribbean too. Beautiful.
Well, I think they had McGrath, Lee, Tate all taking like bags of wickets, and then they had Hayden. I think he scored the most runs. Clark scored. Ponting obviously scored runs. Like they just, I know this Indian side is something special, but for me, this 2007 will always be them. I think they'll be the most dominant tournament team in the history of sport.
Yeah, we slip up against Ireland though. To be fair,
just 9 wickets.
Probably should have won that by 10 wickets. Yeah, losing 1, chasing 2 against Ireland. Not great, but no, I mean, yeah, that's probably the what India's chasing here for the rest of the World Cup. As long as they keep winning, if they dust South Africa, they're looking good for it. The only thing I'd give to India maybe is that there's probably a lot more parity at this World Cup.
Fair point.
Afghanistan, Netherlands. I mean, let's put England aside. We've probably said enough about England, but in terms of this Afghanistan, I reckon beats the '07 Ireland team by 200 runs at this World Cup. I think there's a little bit. I think the 10 are closer at this World Cup, and for India to still be so dominant. Is where you sort of, your LeBron Jordans, would they have done it in our era? Probably, but we'll never know. So it's two people are going to have the same discussion and have that view because, what did you see in the prime when you loved the game the most? So yeah, I think it's the LeBron Jordan debate of World Cup teams, these two so far, if India keep winning.
I like that. I like that you've made a real good case, and you actually started to make me question a little bit, which I like. I do like. Okay, my next question, and it was sort of on the back of the chamois stuff being underrated, because my question was, what does India do when Hardik Pandya returns? So this is obviously interesting because, as we know, Shami, the greatest India bowler in World Cups, wasn't picked for the first 4 games. Otherwise, he'd probably have 40 wickets this tournament. So Pandya batted at 6, Jadeja 7, Ashwin or Thakur 8, Kuldeep, Suraj, Bumrah the tail. After the Pandya injury, they went Sky at 6, Jadeja 7, then a really long tail, Shami, Kuldeep, Suraj, Bumrah. I mean, Bumrah, he's the best bowler in the world. I don't think that's an argument at this point. Suraj, he was the number 1 ranked ODI bowler in the world coming into the World Cup. The latest lineup, the batting and the bowling, probably stronger, but the balance of the side, how important is that? So Jacko, Pandya, if he's fit for the South African game, is he coming in? If he is, who misses out?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be tempted, and it's almost an impossible call because there's 2 sides. Do you bring him in to bring some balance, and maybe it's maybe Siraj is the old man out now that Shami's. You just got to keep playing that hot hand. So maybe he is the old man out for a bit of balance, or do you go right? Let's actually back our 6 batters and our 4 bowlers and our keeper, and we see what the result is, and if we're happy with it, we've got our team now. If we're not happy with it, we've got Pandya there ready, to balance it back out, make a tough call if the result of that game doesn't sort of go the way you want it. Because I think their 6 batters are enough. I mean, most teams in the world would bite your hand off to have Sky at 6 and maybe Pandya at 7, or the other way around. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad I'm not getting paid to make that decision because that's a fucking tough one. But, I mean, yeah, you've probably got to feel that Siraj just ends up being the guy because Shami and Bumrah can have the new ball, Pandya can bowl seam in the middle, and they've got their spinners pretty set. So I don't see them dropping Sky. That maybe would be the only other one, and bring Hardik in to bat 7, but then your tail's very long. So, yeah, I think they might leave it as is, and then if there's sort of the things don't go their way, they might drop one of those specialist seamers and bring Pandya in just for some balance.
Yeah, I think for me, I think Pandya comes in for Sky. I think that just, I think Sky's been okay, but I think Pandya just gives you that all-rounder option. I think you're right. It's probably Siraj, but I tell you what, left field. What if it's Kuldeep? What if you just go Jadeja as a lone spinner and we just load up on seamers? Like, I mean, they've probably got the best seam attack in the world. I know it's in India, but yeah. Bull's talking. It's another option.
I know. And you know what I was even thinking further from that was maybe it's Jadeja. As bold of a take as that is, but he's probably bowling a bit better than Kuldeep at the moment. But you just have that one all-rounder, but I think Jadeja's just he's just such a weapon in the field. His left arm ortho seems to be the ticket for spin bowling. So yeah, Kuldeep could miss out, and they just back pace and back their batting to chase whatever or set whatever.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Okay, I think it's time, Jacko. I think it's time to rip off the Band-Aid. A question for us as fans of the New Zealand cricket team. Is it time to panic? Fresh off a massive thumping at the hands of South Africa, slightly less controversial than the Rugby World Cup clash between these two nations. The Caps have now lost 3 games in a row, coming off winning the first 4. Still in 4th place, but after Pakistan convincingly beat Bangladesh, and now sets up a very, very nervous run home, including a blockbuster clash with Pakistan on Saturday night. Jacko, the Caps are still in control of their own destiny with wins over against Pakistan and Sri Lanka, but 3 losses is still 3 losses to 3 teams ahead of us, no doubt. And this one against South Africa, it was very ugly. Are we panicking?
I'm going to say it is panic stations, and it's not because we lost. It's because we are limping to these finals. You've got Southee, whose thumb is like held together by a few bits of wire. The fact that he's even at this World Cup is a story for another day, in my opinion. I need some clarity on where Adam Milner's. Do we need to put a missing persons APB out on him? Like, what is going on there? I don't know
what's going on.
We've lost Matt Henry. We've lost... Neesham took a blow. Lockie didn't play because he's hurt. Kane, we took into the Cup injured. First few games, there's guys... Like, we've been at this World Cup with 12 to 13 players to pick every game from, not 15. And now we've got guys flying over. Guys are ruled out. I think the wheels are starting to fall off from everything, like, outside of, like, the playing. I can take the South Africa loss, like, not a great toss decision, but, sometimes chasing an ODI cricket goes like that. You get 200 trying to chase 350 or whatever it was. So I think the loss isn't the issue. I think the injuries are just stacking up, and we're just losing key guys left, right, and centre. And guys that guys that are going to come in haven't played any cricket for a month at least. So, yeah, I think it's the injury front that's got me panicked, not the actual performances, because we're fighting hard. We're in a lot of games. The South Africa loss is our only bad one.
That's right.
Yeah, the fact that we've maybe only got 11 blokes healthy for the South Africa game is worrying.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to look at it. If you want to be positive, you can say, well, this is our one bad loss. I think everyone else has had one bad loss. apart from India, of course. Like South Africa lost to the Netherlands. Like imagine if that was us. Australia been skittled a couple times. But that loss was very, very concerning. Do we talk about the toss? Because I'm still struggling to get my head around it. Like I actually haven't heard one thing about it as to why they did it, because it defies logic. South Africa have basically got 350. You locked them into 350 if they bat first, and they basically, the way they batted showed the blueprint on how to take down New Zealand, because New Zealand needs power play wickets. Okay, they were like, well, we're only going to lose one. We're just going to settle in for a bit, and they were going pretty slow. They took apart our fifth bowler, which was Glenn Phillips going at 7.5, Rachman Ravindra going at 8.5, and Neesham going at 12s. Granted, Henry got injured, but that's what you do. You sort of sit in, and then death bowling, Southey going at 8s. Bolt was very good at the death. Ironically, him playing franchise cricket has made him a good death bowler. Maybe we should send a few others out. I don't know, just a thought. And sure enough, when South Africa bowled, hooping round corners, Janssen just doing all sorts. That was the blueprint on how to beat them. That's the blueprint. You pile on the runs. You get South Africa under lights. Granted, it does get a bit dewy around that 25 over mark, but if you got them 5 down by then, doesn't matter. So a little bit concerning. But the thing is, with the New Zealand side, you got to take the good with the bad, because they're a side that doesn't let outside influences influence them. They kind of stay on their path. This is our plan. They don't really get phased. They're really composed. They're the kind of team that can concede 388 and still almost chase it down. But at the same breath, when the obvious answer is sticking in your face, stick this team in. They don't like chasing, but you are just sort of thinking this is what we normally do. We chase. That's what you got to take the good with the bad, don't you?
Yeah, and I don't even know if we should be chasing. I think our recipe is scoring, 300 to 330 on a good surface, and using Bolt to take new ball wickets, using Santner to squeeze through the middle, using Lockie to break some partnerships through the middle, and actually forcing teams to chase, and making 330 fucking hard to get to, making it feel a long way away for 50 overs. And I think regardless of who South Africa are, that's probably the point that was a bit frustrating about the toss, is I think our blueprint is batting first and then squeezing with our bowling attack. So, and then that, is the kryptonite to beat South Africa, it seems anyway. So it's we should have seen that and been doubling down on our maybe preferred way. I mean, maybe they feel, the team feels different about it, but that's what it sort of felt like on the outside as our best chances. Scoring 320, 330 and squeezing the life out of teams.
Yeah, okay. I think I feel a little bit better after that. How do you feel? You feel off your chest?
Bad
up the caps
loss
this weekend.
Up the caps. The boys are actually going to use these injuries as a rally cry, and we'll be fine. I've got you my bonus question here, though. Is this the worst week in New Zealand sports history? We're talking, we've lost a World Cup final to South Africa. We've had a heartbreaking loss to Australia in the cricket. We've had a terrible loss to South Africa. We've lost 3 of our starters to injury. And on top of that, Aiden Fanua-Blake tried to quit the Warriors yesterday. Tough week.
Hasn't been good. And Stephen Adams out for the season.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't even thought of that. All our big guys and all our big codes.
That's not good. Not good. Volts and Canterbury both couldn't win because they're playing each other.
Sputtered to a draw.
Volts culture.
It was that dark here. I can't believe they played it all one day for.
Oh, shit. Okay. Righto, another question for you. This is kind of leading on to, because we should probably talk about South Africa because they have been unbelievable. And I think it's fair to say that India and South Africa have sort of put a bit of a gap between themselves and the others. And we've obviously talked about what it started to tell us about what New Zealand, and maybe they are a step below. But it's definitely told me that South Africa are genuine threats to India. I think we've talked about how good India are, but South Africa's done nothing wrong. Their run rate's probably net run rate's actually better than India's. Jacko, who else have you actually got as genuine contenders to win the cup? Like, you're on a lie detector right now, and if you don't genuinely believe it, it's going to ping. Have you just got South Africa? You got Australia in there? A little bit of hope for New Zealand, or you just got India running the gauntlet?
Yeah, I'll take, our third host who is missing tonight at work, unfortunately, but he's a big UFC fan, and I'll sort of rank it like that. I mean, we've got our not champ, but we've got the belt holder in India. They are cream of the crop. I think South Africa's earned that title of the number one contender. They're due a title fight. They've got the makings of they look the business. Aussie scare me. They always will. I've said this whole World Cup. There's something about Aussie at a tournament. They just rally around it. Like, Marsha's going home for personal reasons, texting Stoiner saying, I'm back in a week to win this cup. Like, I think Aussie hang around and there'll be a problem at some point in the tournament. And they could make the final easily. So I'll keep Aussie in there as, the second contender, and then that's probably who I've got as, the three teams. I think you're looking at a 90% chance of one of those three winning it from here. I've got hope for us, always will, up the Caps. But yeah, I think those three are well on their own. And I'll put South Africa and India above Aussie again as the two real threats. I think that'll be the final. We've got a finals preview coming up this week.
I think South Africa deserve to be considered a threat, but of my gut feeling is that there is no threat, and I think there is a world where India are just too good, and they're going to expose.
It feels like
South
India.
Africa's
Yeah,
issues.
It feels like India are just the better version of what South Africa is doing at the moment.
They got more balance and stuff, and they got more depth. And I think, I don't know. There's just this gut feeling that it's going to happen, and there's no real if you South Africa have been good, but there's just this one outlier where they lost to the Netherlands and they've crumbled chasing, and you just can't. If India bat first and they get 300 plus, and they get South Africa under lights and they lose 3 for split, there's no coming back. Like, their top order has done all the business. If South Africa can bat first, if someone could tell me South Africa will 100% bat first, I think we've got a chance. I think we've got a game. And I think if South Africa played to their potential, I think they're a high floor, high ceiling side. If they are anywhere near their best, I think we've got a match. But
yeah,
my gut tells me that India are too good.
The ideal scenario for this World Cup final is South Africa bat first, score anything above 330, 340, and we watch India have a real hot crack at it, because they'll be able to chase it.
Kohli 100.
Kohli 120, Reed winning, etc. Tough on the punters last night. If anyone had someone to score 100, 4 guys getting 80 odd, but it's for another day.
I have got my final question, and it is to do with punting. And it's most likely upset this weekend. We've got a massive weekend of cricket game. This is like this feels like moving day. Like, in terms of golf major, like day three in a test match, day 3 in a golf major, moving day. Like, after this weekend, we're going to have a real sense on who's going where. We've got Afghanistan versus Netherlands. Afghanistan have a real shot at making a late push. We'll talk about Pakistan, but Afghanistan have a late push. They are $1.34 favourites against the Netherlands at $3.15. Not bad odds for Netherlands. 2 wins. Big game Saturday night, early game. New Zealand, Pakistan. New Zealand at $1.80 favourites. Pakistan $1.97. The late game on the Saturday, Australia at $1.61 favourites. England $2.25. And the final game of the weekend on the Sunday night, India $1.52 versus South Africa at $2.45. Jacko, you got to pick one of those underdogs to win. Who's most likely?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off with saying, give me the multi. Give me all 4.
Of the underdogs.
I could see it happening. I mean,
Netherlands, Pakistan, England, South Africa.
In a vacuum, I think the Netherlands win is the hardest there. Pakistan could beat us. England could just get it right, and South Africa could be the best team at this cup and just had a slip up against the Netherlands. So, I mean, I'd multi them and chuck $1 to $2 on. Might just give you something to gamble with for the rest of the cup. But
or 200 if you Fraser
I'm
Cameron.
probably going to say Yeah. Fraser, don't put 1,000 on that, please. I'll not sleep. But I think the best money there is the Netherlands. I think that's anything above 3s. You're like, they came in at 10 and 9. But I think Afghanistan have shown enough that they actually are a real side. So.
I don't know. I think those odds are quite skewed, though. I think the Netherlands deserve a little bit more respect than that, the way I've been tracking.
I think that's smart money. You put 10 on that and you're happy to lose it because of the number. You're getting your $3.40. So that's just smart money. But I like South Africa at $2.45 because, I think India will be hard to beat twice. So if India winning this cup and South Africa is a bit of a juggernaut, they could do it once and then India will just steamroll them in the final. So, I think South Africa is the most likely of those wins. I'm staying away from New Zealand, Pakistan because that's a pick 'em. But Netherlands for value, South Africa for the most likely.
Give me England to beat Australia. Give me England. I just think nothing gets England back into sort of waking them up than a game against Australia. They will be so pumped to just derail Australia's World Cup. Marsh is away. Maxwell's playing too much golf. He fell out of a golf cart. Absolutely wild, by the way. Didn't even touch on that, but that's actually crazy. And England, at some point, they can't, the team's too good. At some point, Joe Root has come out and said, man for man, I'll back our side, which wouldn't be a controversial statement a few weeks ago. Now it is. But I'm sorry. Man for man, I probably am taking England. And there is this feeling that I don't think Australia's that good. And maybe it's just the Kiwi and me coming out. Maybe I just don't want them to be good. But I got this feeling like that side is not that good. And I just got a feeling. I think England gets it done. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad shout. It feels like they should be getting it done a lot more, but struggling a lot in them. But as you said, Bazball's going into the Oxford Dictionary, so maybe it's time to celebrate.
Holy shit, that's outrageous behaviour. We weren't even going to do worst take, but that is our worst take. That's our one and only worst take. There is no other options. That is... Fuck yeah, that sums up England cricket. Actually, I won't take that bet back. I'll go Australia. Fuck it. Fuck those English. Holy. You got anything else before we take off, Jacko?
Nah, that's all from me. Big weekend for our Caps. Rally weekend for the boys. Galvanise. The boys will galvanise and up Muhammad Shami.
That is us for another episode. Join us next week as we will either gloat that our Kiwis are back in the hunt, or you get to have a look at us complain about our side like the AB's fans complain about the Rugby World Cup final. Either way, it's going to be a hell of a watch. So hit that subscribe and join the ride. Thanks to Jacko. We'll catch up with all you guys very soon.
Yeah, just